Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Experts, Debunking AI, Chatbots, and Voicebots. We're very excited that you submitted your questions on AI, virtual agents, and tuned in to watch this panel discussion today. This is the first webinar where we've put together a panel, and we're delighted that it's with our partner NICE CXone and Google Cloud. Before we dive into the content, I'm going to introduce the panelists and myself. So first of all, I'm Emily Miller. I'm the Marketing Support Specialist at Wilmac, and I will be the moderator today. With us is our first panelist, Michael Hoch. He's Google Cloud's Strategic Technology Partner Manager, and he's worked at Google Cloud for over 4 years, and he focuses specifically on Google Cloud's contact center AI partners. Our second panelist is Jeffrey Wright, Wilmac Canada's Contact Center Sales Director. He has over 2 decades worth of experience selling contact center solutions. And our third panelist is Christopher Schaeffer, Wilmac USA's Contact Center Sales Director. He has over 20 years of experience with cloud contact center software. So these three will be your go-to experts today. Now, before we start our panel discussion, we thought it'd be best to go over the relationship between Wilmac, NICE CXone, and Google Cloud. So Wilmac is an organization that's prided itself as voice specialists for over 30 years now. We've been partners with NICE since the late 90s and believe that we're their white glove service provider. Now, Wilmac's NICE CXone practice group has been developing for the last 4 years. We have dedicated sales, implementation, project, and consulting teams for complex solutions. And we truly believe that customers are in need of partners who can assist in digital transformation initiatives like the one we're discussing today. CCAS platforms are the future of contact centers, and the technology is truly game-changing. Now, NICE CXone is the world's #1 all-in-one cloud-native customer service experience platform. CXone is a worldwide leader in AI-powered self-service and agent-assisted contact center software. They work with over 25,000 organizations in more than 150 countries worldwide, including over 85 of the Fortune 100 companies. With the concept of AI chatbots and voicebots comes CXone's Virtual Agent Hub. It's essentially a hub for bring your own pre-built bots. You're able to integrate bots with no coding and deploy bots powered by Google Dialogflow for voice and chatbot self-service. The CXone Virtual Agent Hub provides a place for you to securely register, configure, and preview your bot. As part of the CXone platform, the Virtual Agent Hub ensures a continuous contact flow, including seamless omnichannel elevation from bot to agent with full context. So instead of having to repeat everything that you already told the bot to the agent, there's a seamless transition from bot to live agent with full context. Customers won't have to start over again. So I'm now going to hand it over to Michael to talk about Google Cloud and Dialogflow.
Thanks, Emily. And before you move off the slide, I do want to point out that the integrations between Google Cloud and NICE CXone have already been done. So we have these native integrations, as Emily was saying, but we also have the ability to sell Dialogflow through NICE CXone. So it's not only a bring your own bot platform, it's also an all-in-one platform where you can get both the support and engagement relationship as well as the native integrations between the technologies. So to go into a little more detail on what Google Cloud brings to the table in this relationship, there's really 3 areas of Google Cloud CCAI that are available with our partnership with Wilmac and CXone. First is the virtual agents, voicebots and chatbots. This is powered by our NLU platform, Dialogflow, which is used all over the world probably in your daily life. You've had some experience with it if you've used a Google Home or if you have a Google Assistant or something like that. This is the same engine that powers our contact center AI, voicebots, and chatbot platform. On the right-hand side, we have Agent Assist. So when you're talking to a live agent, we're bringing AI to those agents as the conversation happens. It provides turn-by-turn transcription. It provides knowledge base access, so it can pop up articles based on what's being said during the conversation. And at the end of the call, it provides an AI-driven summarization to the agents. So the agents don't have to spend nearly as much time wrapping up their calls. They can move on to servicing more customers. And then the third area is insights. These are analytics that allow for in-call understanding of what's happening during the call flows. You can take the transcripts from the voice bots and the chat bots. You can take the Agent Assist settings and all of the metadata and any other interactions that happen during those, and bring them into an analytics platform so you can understand first, how is your automation doing? Are your voice bots and your chat bots doing what you need them to do? Do you want to build new automation using the calls that are common among the agents that you can then automate and move to an automated setting? Are there other areas for agent assist that agents continually have to go and get? Can you bring that to their fingertips? Next slide, please. And why are we doing this? For the main reasons in the contact center. These are core areas that Google focuses on in terms of business benefits. So in a virtual agent setting, you want to increase call deflection and reduce hold time. So the fewer calls that get to live agents, the better, the lower the operational cost. But you want to do that with a live, human, interactive way. And Dialogflow, one of its main strengths is that it is a very human-like conversational platform. The second, on the agent assist setting, is really average handle time, trying to help those agents provide more efficient conversations while also impacting customer satisfaction. You don't want to sacrifice customer satisfaction in order to get to a lower handle time. And so Agent Assist AI can really help with that. And then insights, it's about understanding what's happening in the call center, about providing better services for your agents, and looking at where you can provide better benefits going forward.
All right, thank you, Michael. Thank you. He's our voice from above. So we're going to now move into our panel discussion. So now that you've gotten some context on what Wilmac, NICE CXone, and Google Cloud can do for you together, we're going to look at 5 of the questions that our audience submitted when registering. I'll move right away into question 1. What are the benefits of using AI chatbots and voice bots? Jeff, I'm going to hand this over to you first.
Great, thanks, Emily. As Michael pointed out, ideally you want to automate as many of your non-critical responses as possible by using both the chatbots and the voice bots. So you really want to move all of that conversation away from agents that can be handled, the non-critical questions. Secondly, your voice bots and your chatbots are available, 24/7 and 365. So you're able to communicate with your customers on the time and days that they want to communicate with you. So you're not dictating to them, they're dictating to you how you want to interact. Thirdly, you can have consistent messaging. So if somebody's calling or looking to communicate with you and they're just trying to find hours of operations or other things, you can always have that consistent messaging, but you can also change that as you see fit. It also increases customer engagement. Again, you don't want to have your agents working 7/24 if they don't have to, but your bot can be doing that, and they can also handle more interactions than a human agent. And last but not least, scalable. We're about to go into the Christmas season. We've just come out of US Thanksgiving, and as we're starting to see organizations have to scale up, these are tools that you can use very quickly and efficiently to scale up your contact center without having to hire physical individuals to come in and work for you.
Those are great points, Jeff. Thank you. Christopher, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to add on to that theme just a little bit here with 2 points that I see, and one is, as we've mentioned, it's a more human-like intervention. So there's a greater chance to get a first call resolution with the chatbots. They're smarter, or the voice bots. They're smarter. They're going to be able to handle a lot more questions and be more intuitive, so to speak. So you're going to get first call resolution. And then to add on to that, if you're getting more first call resolution, you're going to be able to right size your contact center. You're going to allow your agents to do other tasks, more critical tasks, more important tasks to them versus some of the standard calls they were getting, because the voice bots and the chat bots are going to take care of a lot of these calls that they weren't able to before.
Michael, I'll let you close out this question. What are your thoughts?
I agree, obviously, with what Christopher and Jeff said, so I'm right on the same train as them. I would add on that one of the important things to look at in chatbots and voice bots is the flexibility and the breadth and depth of the technology platform that you're looking for, because you get those benefits that they were talking about when that chatbot or voice bot can respond to the customer in the way that they want to talk. Some of the legacy platforms, you end up with very robotic responses, and the customer actually has to learn how to talk like a bot in order to get their answers. The new platforms, and in particular Google Dialogflow, is very much a human conversation. And the benefit for that is that any person can come in and talk to it. It also has dozens of languages that it can understand, so you don't have to learn a new language in order to use technologies. You want to be able to use those chatbots and voice bots in as many settings as possible, and some of these newer platforms allow that.
So there are obviously a lot of pros that can come with AI chatbots and voice bots, but you have to remember that it takes a lot of that background behind the scenes work to put together an effective and lasting virtual agent. Moving into question 2. Human agents automatically adjust to customer communication styles. How is this issue mitigated when using a virtual agent? Christopher, I'm going to start with you.
Well, one of the biggest technology advances over the last handful of years or so is what you call natural language processing. I think we're all familiar with the robotic sound that you used to get on previous generation IVRs and whatnot. Well, natural language processing takes it to the next level where it's, again, as we've stated several times, more like a human feeling, a human voice. And to kind of go further on that is you don't have your just standard languages, English, Spanish, French, so to speak. You have many languages. I think Michael will touch on that a little bit. And then also on top of the languages or the different languages is you have the different dialects within those languages. So if you're in the Northeast, you can have a dialect that's very similar to a Northeasterner. So I think that's huge when people are talking to voice AI and getting that more human feel of the call.
Michael, do you have anything to add to Christopher's points?
I do have one thing to add, which is some of the newer platforms allow for tangents within a virtual agent. One of the criticisms of voice bots and chatbots is that sometimes they're too simple. Like you can reset a password, but you can't do anything else. And now what we have is technologies like ours that allow you to have your main thrust of the conversation that the virtual agent's handling. It might be reset a password, but it can also handle tangents like what is my balance today, and I'd like to upgrade my address, and these things, all within the same virtual agent setting without forcing the customer to go back. So that makes it much more fluid in terms of how a human can interact with that virtual agent by being able to go off on different levels and come back to the main conversation.
I like that. That's a great point. Jeff, I'll let you finish off this question.
Yeah, fully agree with everything that we've heard from both Christopher and Michael. And yes, chatbots are getting better, and natural language processing helps a great deal. And while chatbots are becoming increasingly smarter, still deep acting and out of the box thinking at a human level is not yet fully attainable. It's getting better, but it is not fully attainable. But because of this, chatbots are really introduced as an additional customer service program to coexist with your frontline employees rather than replacing that human interaction that people will still want. So it's some of the things that we've talked about when, if a chatbot can't resolve a customer inquiry, which is often the case with highly complex tasks, they have the ability to transfer that conversation to a human agent while keeping the entire conversation content there so that the agent doesn't have to repeat anything with the customer. So there's a lot of growth going along in this area.
Gotcha. So NLP is playing a huge part in the personalization and humanization of chatbots and voice bots. So I'm interested to see how they'll continue to develop because a lot of people prefer to use them instead of calling into a contact center, like myself. Moving into question 3, how do you measure the success or failure of a virtual agent? Jeff, I'm going to toss it right back to you for this one.
Yeah, sure. And that will really be specific to your industry and your company, as well as whatever experience that you may have had prior with any other automation tools. Deloitte has estimated that bots are going to save businesses somewhere in the area of $8 billion by the year 2022. As an example of that, JP Morgan saved more than 360,000 hours, or about 41 years of labor, using its Coin chatbot to quickly analyze complex back-end contracts. It's estimated that implementing chatbots can help a business save up to 30% of their customer service costs, and that would be very much related to your industry and your company. But Humanly did a study and found that approximately 87% of users would interact with a travel chatbot if it could save them both time and money. So it's, again, very specific to your industry and your company.
Michael, what do you think about this?
Yeah, those are all good points in terms of where we see the industry going and what customers are looking for. Getting on the ground, I agree entirely. This is about your business. When we talk to customers and they say, "What's a great success rate?" we will go back right back to them and say, "Well, what are you doing today?" I mean, I talked about the main metrics a moment ago. In a voice bot, chatbot setting, we look at deflection rate or containment rate in terms of the percent of calls that are not having to be escalated to an agent. And for one customer, 30% might be a home run for them, whereas another customer might already be at 60% and they're trying to get up to 80 or 90%. All of those are possible, but you need to put in the time, you need to put in the effort and have the expertise available to you. This is not magic in terms of you put it in and it magically happens. You really need to have those experts helping you through the process of building and managing those virtual agents and have a clear idea of what success means for you in your business.
That's a great point. AI is not a magic wand. Christopher, what do you think?
Again, this kind of goes back on the same themes of Jeff and Michael. It's, success can be defined on many levels depending on your type of business. Do you want your chatbots to collect more money? Do you want them to book more sales? Do you ultimately want them to save on labor in the call center because your agents are doing other things? And it's just like you said, Emily, it's not a magic wand. If you put those voice bots and chatbots out there, they're not just going to immediately fix your problem. You're going to need to fine tune them over the course of time, just like anything in your business. You're going to have to look at it, see how to improve it, and move your company forward. But again, it all starts on what you're trying to do with the success of your company, what your challenges are, and where you're trying to go.
I think our panelists make a really good point with this question, that successes and failures, they look different for everyone, but make sure that you define it and adapt it to meet your business needs. Moving into question 4. What type of functions are voice bots most successful with? Michael, let's start with you.
Well, I think it used to be that you had very narrowly defined use cases for voice bots. Password resets, check my balance, very simple 1, 2, 3 turn questions. But that's no longer the case. You can have much longer interactions and therefore have more complex needs being met and have successful voice bots. But you do need to have someone who really understands the technology and understands your business to help you build a successful voice bot or chat bot. And then you can really look at what are the high volume transactions that happen, what are the things that are happening that are hitting agents, but agents are not necessarily doing anything different. Every agent's doing exactly the same thing to solve that problem. Those are areas that you can look at for voice bots and automation.
Great. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, when you're building a voice bot or a chat bot or a virtual assistant, I think one of the key concerns should be the quality of the conversation. That should be the most important consideration. Any of the bots can adopt features and characteristics that deliver a high caliber conversation experience, and that's what you need to focus on. We have seen that both voice bots and chat bots can easily answer up to 80% of routine questions, and that drives down costs and it makes it a lot easier to handle higher volumes than having a human agent answer this. But again, it's really that value of conversation, as we've learned already through this presentation, that's getting better and better with each iteration of these tools.
Christopher, anything to add to Jeff's points?
Yeah, definitely. As Jeff said, you're going to get more human-like conversation. Voice bots can take a lot of the data that's presented to them and give you more of a real-time decision versus previous generations of chatbots or voice bots where it's a more traditional script, very simple question and answer. What's your name? My name's Christopher. Things along those lines. So if you're getting more of a real-time decision, it's going to increase your customer experience. You're not going to be reliant on a traditional agent as much. You're going to increase that first call resolution that we talked about. And ultimately, again, as I just said, it's going to improve that customer experience. It's going to get them on the phone, hopefully get the problem solved right away. And then they're going to be happier versus waiting in a queue, waiting for an agent and things along those lines. So we're not quite there yet, but as we continue to move forward, this technology is growing and it's a great opportunity to get in and do some automation within your organization.
You guys made some great points. I think acknowledging the difference between your chatbot and your voice bot, it seems like an important distinction to make. So you have to treat them differently. I'm now going to move into our final question of the panel discussion today. Question 5. How do you get started when reviewing the effectiveness of your current bot or are getting started to move to an AI-powered bot? Jeff, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, first you need to review your overall business needs and how you anticipating this bot or these tools to support your business goals. And we've talked about, measuring success is different for each organization, but you need to understand where you're starting from and what your goals are. Then you need to understand and look at what your budget is and your expected both ROI and ROV. So you need to understand the return on the value that you're going to have as a communications tool with your customer base. And then ideally, you should reach out to an established consulting partner that has experience in helping map out and optimize, your customer experience journey. And that's critical when you're looking at deploying these. And last, you want to start slow. You don't want to trial it and boil the ocean. You're not trying to do all things at once. And you need to really combine your bot strategy with your overall customer experience strategy.
I like it. Good metaphor. Do not try to boil the ocean. Michael, what are your thoughts on this question?
I agree with everything that was said there, certainly in terms of getting an expert to help you and focusing on your ROI and ROV. A little more tactically, something that we encourage customers to do is to look at your own data. So what are you doing today? What voicebot or chatbot programs today do you have and how effective are they? Especially if you're looking to bring AI to an existing platform. If you don't actually have a voicebot or chatbot program in place, then look at your live calls and look at the transcripts of those and understand what are the actual flows that are happening and how can those be automated. You may not be replicating exactly what's done by a human agent. You may be looking at how can you also optimize while you're doing the automation process. But using your own voice call data and your current interactions is where we encourage customers to start instead of taking something out of the blue and throwing it in brand new without having any context.
Christopher, let's round out question 5 with you.
I mean, there's not a lot I can add here that Jeff and Michael didn't state, and I fully agree with. But again, you got to have a consultant. This is, rapidly evolving technology, and it's really important to sit down with a consultant and see what your needs and goals are. At Wilmac, we'd be more than happy to help you if you don't have a consultant or a partner. And we want to sit down with you, see what you're doing today, see where you want to take your company. Maybe it's not just voice bots and chat bots, but everything in your contact center. We have myself over 20 years in this industry, Jeff as well, and as an organization, we have tons of years in this industry. We'd love to sit down and help you and see if CXone, our great partner with NICE and Google can help you out.
Great. So there's definitely some guidance needed if you don't have the resources, the people, or the knowledge to evaluate or create a chatbot or voice bot. So understanding the bigger picture of your business goals must be kept in mind when making the decision to utilize virtual agents in your contact center. All right, well, thank you to our panelists for your great help and discussion with those questions on AI virtual agents. I think you added a lot of value to what our audience attended to today. So thank you to everyone who has joined us for Ask the Experts, Debunking AI Chatbots and Voice Bots. If we didn't get to answer your question, we'll make sure to reach out to you individually. And the contact information for our panelists, myself, and our NICE CXone contact, Amanda, are up on the screen now. So if you're interested in talking more, please do not hesitate to reach out. So thank you again for your time and have a great rest of your day.